So welcome back everybody to the Burt Not Bought YouTube channel. Today we're working on the black Civic. We're going to be doing a little bit with the front bumper and some more with the intercooler brackets. Let's get to work.
So if you think what we've done up until now is redneck, this is going to take the cake.
So I'm getting more and more antsy with this car to get stuff done and get it going front wheel drive, like I said in the last video. So I've been working pretty hard on it. My time with it, again, is limited, but I'm trying. I really want to see this thing go, and I got to balance it with the Champ car. I'm going to try to trim my projects down to hit the Champ car in the house. Really want to get this thing done and run it. I've got some big plans for it. I want to see them work, and I want to work through all the struggles that are inevitably going to come my way with it. So I've been trying to do what I can when I can. Some of it I've been recording, some of it I haven't. But anyway, what we're going to look at is the intercooler brackets or bracket that I have right now. We'll see how that fits up, and then we're going to look at some stuff I did on the front bumper now because I have to undo it to take the bumper off. So this is one of the things I didn't record. So before I pop this front bumper off of here, I just wanted to take a second to admire this thing, at least looking whole, for a minute. I do come out here and just stare at this car sometime. I'm never really just sitting here admiring it. I'm always planning what I'm gonna do with this, that, or the other, but it is nice to see it looking like it's in one piece. I mean, it's pretty aggressive looking, but anyway, front bumper. So the front bumper attaches. Get out of there. Pardon me while I give you vertigo. So on these Civics, these front bumpers are actually pretty simple. They just have like 7 clips across the top there, and then 2 bolts up underneath. If you had fender liners, there's a couple of clips and bolts on the corners that hold the fender liners. But as far as the bumper goes, there was just 1 screw there on either side, 7 clips and 2 bolts. They're very easy to get off. But the problem is when I had these carbon fiber fenders, I put them on, and this bolt right here that, I don't know if you can see it, it's right around the corner right there. That long 10mm bolt, well, 6x1 anyway. It puts a lot of stress on the fender right there and cracked it. So I wanted to get some of the stress away from this corner and move it up to the actual fender itself where it's being pulled this way rather than, you know, trying to pry it apart. So I got these very genuine Sparco, like, I guess, I don't know what you call it. It's like a holder clip, but they came in a box covered in Chinese. So they're definitely not actual Sparco parts, they're junk, but they work really well. I mean, which is really nice. I mean, if I want to get the bumper off quickly, that's all I got to do rather than fighting this bolt. So that turned out really nice. And then the intercooler, which is sitting right here, of course, it interferes with my vents here. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove the whole like flat black area altogether, as much as I do not want to do that. I think it's necessary, which really stinks, but I could clear this by moving the intercooler back, but the problem is if I move it back, it would have to go up to clear the lower bulkhead right there. And if it goes up, then the radiator won't clear the upper core support. So unfortunately, this has to go in order to keep this low and forward. So it stinks, but anyway, let's pop this off here real quick, and then I'll sit the intercooler on there and we'll talk about this bracket that's on it. All right, so a quick note is leave those clips before taking those off, because if you take everything else out and then that side off and then this side, the bumper will still hold in place until you get to that last one that is helping to countermeasure this crack. And then you take it loose and the whole thing falls off and tries to rip the fender off the car and potentially crack it significantly worse. So anyway, I'm an idiot. So this is a bracket that I have right now. It doesn't quite fit perfect. This section needs to go this way about 9mm. And then this section needs to go, this mounting point needs to go this way about 7. So what this does This is like stabilizing the intercooler from going side to side, because these just hold it up and down. They're not actually keeping it from sliding side to side. So these 2 points will keep this whole assembly from sliding. This one stabilizes the radiator, obviously, and this one isn't so much stabilizing the intercooler just as much as controlling side to side movement, because this is mounted to the radiator right here. So I'm not exactly sure if I've got all my bases covered as far as like the forces this will see side to side and fore and aft. I think I do, but that's what testing is for, and it's really nice to have the 3D printer, because I'll just make another one if it's a problem. But that's what we're looking at right now. I need to modify this one a little bit, and then I'll print one for that side, and then we'll see how it fits in the car. But for now, I'll just sit the intercooler back in there and we'll take a look at it. So I like the way it looks sitting in there. It looks really nice, and that bracket looks good. You know, I don't want these brackets to just be ugly, so I'll pretty it up a little bit more, but I think it looks really nice. The whole assembly is sitting further towards the driver's side, which is why I said those 2 mounting points need to move this way, because it will pull the assembly over. But it looks really nice, and I think these are good. They're weak right now because there's no infill in them. This is also weak. So we're gonna print one more model with the fixes I think need made to this one, make it a little bit stronger, and then print the other side to make sure it all fits. And once it does, we'll just drill a couple holes here and here, put rib nuts in for 8x125 bolts, which is what's in here, and then shoot it to the body. So yeah, it's a little bit of a painful process, a little longer than I thought it would be, but it's gone pretty well. So I'm gonna put the bumper on it now, and we'll see what the bumper looks like in place. Of course, like I said, it's gonna touch down here, but we'll be able to see kind of how this bracket fits in behind the fascia. So let's take a look. Just 2 for now. Oh yeah, we're not even gonna be able to get that close. It's already hitting right here. Yep, that is stopping me from even getting these even close to home. So, well, that kind of is my measurement right there. I need to take about a 1/2 inch. I think this is a job for the belt sander. We can admire that a little bit though. Oh yeah. So when I put the auxiliary radiators in, this side I think is just gonna be an oil cooler for now. The other side will be the auxiliary radiator, which I think we should have the space, and I'll cut a big vent right here and print a big, 3D printed shroud around it. I think that'd be really cool. And just put some, gate in behind it, to protect it from rocks coming through. Anyway, then this side probably be about the same thing, and it'll just be an oil cooler because the oil filter on this engine is right here. So all the way down, still can't see, there it is. It's on this side on the back bottom, so it'd be a really short run to an oil cooler right there. But man, all right, things are looking decent. Looks really good up there still. I am proud of the way it sits, that's for sure. So now it is time to make yet another run back to my office to put together another prototype, make the changes to this one, print the other one, bring it back, make sure it fits. And at that point, then we'll just get the correct material, which I'm gonna use ASA with a carbon fiber blend, similar to what I use for the Champ Cars ducts that you'll find didn't work out. And then we will get that put together, smooth. We'll get it printed, smooth it, because smoothing it actually makes it stronger and it makes it look better. And then we'll bolt this intercooler in and we'll be done with that side of it. So then we'll move on to 3D printing other stuff, wiring, tubing. My buddy's dying to make titanium intercooler piping for this thing. So just moving along as the budget allows. So anyway, let's go back to the office, see what we can come up with. All right, so after I made that clip, I went and recorded what I said I was gonna do, but I realized this is getting too long-winded, so I'm making an executive decision here to take a step back and try to keep these more interesting than informative, because at this point, this process is kind of all over the place. Next time I make something 3D printed, I'll go through my whole process and how I do this. But for right now, I cut all that, and I'm just gonna show you guys what I ended up with. So as you can see, the bumper is on. I went home and I printed off the new brackets. They're not the final material, but they are the final design. So the brackets are mounted to the intercooler on both sides and the bottom on both sides. They look good. Obviously the intercooler's sitting in there. They're not mounted to the body yet. I still have to drill the 2 holes in the frame right there, and on the other side put rib nuts in and mount it. But it is sitting exactly how it will be in the car. The bumper is on. I got my new holder clamps on the side there, which are working out actually really nicely. I don't love the way they look, but you know, you got to do what you got to do when the bumper is literally trying to tear your carbon fiber apart. So then down here, you can see that I had to cut the vents out of the bumper, and then I had to sand it a little bit right here, which it looks like I might have to go a little further because it's still kind of touching. I still have to clean that up as well, but my next steps are to drill the holes, mount the brackets of the car, and then I need to drill the spot welds in the upper core support. I'm trying to find a new one that's just black like the car, but I think this is probably the nicest one I'm gonna be able to find. New ones are cheap and chintzy and not the right color, and then one from a junkyard is probably gonna be rustier, so I don't know. We'll see what I come up with there, but for now, this is gonna be my test piece where I drill it out and try to remount it with bolts. That way I can take it out and take like everything out of here and just pull the engine out. Next time I do a 3D printed project on this thing, like maybe an air intake for the turbo, I'll go through kind of step by step how I do it and try to be a little bit more clear and concise, because this got a little messy. This is the first time I've ever done a write-up like this, or technically like a video series like this. So I'm still kind of learning. Next one should be a little bit smoother, but as far as this one goes, when I get the core support drilled, I'll show everybody how I make a non-removable body part removable. And then also I will show off the brackets once they're done, so that you guys can see what they look like, because ASA and carbon fiber, when it's printed, looks amazing. And then if you acetone smooth it, it looks even better, something like this. So I had to turn my flashlight on, but you can kind of see the like glitter in the reflection on that thing, like the lower reflection on the shaft. It looks almost like in person it's bronzy. On that camera it's kind of purplish, but anyway, that's the carbon fiber that's in this ASA filament. And then I acetone smoothed it, so it's very hard to tell it's printed unless you look in the valleys of the gear teeth, or down in that hole you can see some of the strands. But otherwise it looks like a molded part, maybe a little bit more imperfect, but it's got the 57 mark on the side there for 57 mil length, and this should work out nicely. It's a speedometer drive gear for a 1974 Corvette, so pretty slick. That printer's pretty capable. So that's what those brackets will look like when they're done. So I'm excited for that. And this is extremely light. This is only like 5 grams. So it's very, very light and very strong. So I'm excited to make these brackets out of that. So anyways, like I said, I know this got a little long-winded. It became a little bit of a disaster, to be honest, but you guys get the idea. It takes time to make brackets like that, especially when it's something that hasn't been made before, or honestly, as far as I know, tried before. So thanks for hanging in there and tuning in. I appreciate it. Next video, we'll be fooling around with some core support stuff, but thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. We will see you on the Burt Not Bought YouTube channel next time.